I pulled up some old notes, and there's a topic that we've talked about in the past.
Brick by brick.
And never really dug deep into that. And it's like the 4 levels of why we do what we do, right? Why most people do what they do, you know. Some people talk about, vision. Some people talk about, legacy, impact, freedom, status, purpose, all of those things, all those buzzwords, right? And survival, right? Let's talk about survival. Why? Actually, let me rewind a little bit. How TC Backer got started was purely out of a resentment, and resentment can be a powerful tool if harnessed correctly. It was a resentment that has definitely had helped early on, but I held on to that resentment entirely too long, right, where it almost buried me. And I had just about lost everything. We exploded, which then turned into me imploding, right? But eventually I got my head out of my ass. I got my shit straight. And I started to really think about what it was that I did wrong and what do I need to improve upon. And a lot of that, most of that had to do with in here, right? Vic and I talk about this all the time, especially here lately. It's been a hot button for us that, we got to be right here. We got to be right here, and we got to be right up there. Right. And I don't know which order that is, that should come in, but I think it should be that, should be this, and then it can be that, right? But survival, right? I got into business out of a resentment, and then it became like a survival thing for me, right? Like I had to survive. Now I'm relying on myself. I had bills to pay. I had mouths to feed. I had child support. I had bought my first house in 2005, and I knew that failure wasn't going to be an option, and I knew that I had this resentment that was just on fire in me. And from survival went into status, right? Like I had to prove my haters wrong. Had to have the nice house, which I stayed humble enough and continued to live in the house that I bought back in 2005. It was actually a 2-unit. I rented out the first floor and lived on the second and third floor. And then until the tenants moved out, my living room was my office. I had to keep up with the Joneses, whether it was vehicles and things like that. And I portrayed the business to be a lot bigger than it was. That was just where my mindset was, right? Like I knew I wanted to be $100 million company someday. So I portrayed like we were $1 million company. People used to say that we'd see your truck all over the place, or your trucks, plural. And little did they know it was just me. It was just me running around like a chicken with his head cut off, running all the appointments. Stu installing at that time had a few guys working for me. And I remember killing myself. And it really wasn't that long ago where I'd kill myself. I'd leave them on a job. I'd go bust out 2 or 3 small jobs just to make sure that we had enough money to cover payroll. And we still carry that mentality today. And then a lot of entrepreneurs, I kind of skipped over that freedom, where I want to have enough money where I don't have to go to work every day, where I can spend more time with my family. And a lot of entrepreneurs kind of get stuck there, in that freedom, right? Like, I don't know if, for me, I don't know if I'll ever feel that sense of freedom. Yes, I do have freedom as an entrepreneur. I can come and go as I please, but there's that guilt. There's that guilt, that gnawing guilt that if I'm not the first one here, the last one to leave, that my team won't respect me. Which is something that I should probably work on. And I still struggle with that, but that's just how I roll. And then there's purpose, and purpose is where I'm at today. Like I'm a purpose driven person, man, where it's like, how do I want to be remembered? Legacy, another hot topic, another buzzword that everybody uses all the time. Like, how do I want to have, or make impact on other people's lives? My legacy. It's about realizing my why I was put on this earth, right? And it took me a minute to realize that, that I had been given a second chance, a second opportunity to make a positive impact on people's lives today. And, cause for so long I had actually, had a negative impact. I never realized the impact that I had on people's lives, the unmanageability that I created in those people's lives, not just my own unmanageability by the way that I acted, by the things that I said. right, impacted so many people's lives around me in a negative way where they would walk on eggshells around me. They didn't know which tie backer would show up. And finally, when I got my head out of my ass and had realized that I had been given a second chance, a second opportunity to focus on the real purpose. It wasn't about what could I take off the table. Today, for me, it's what can I put on the table, right? What can I bring to the table today? How can I improve people's lives? How many people's lives can I impact today in a positive way? You know, realizing why I was put on this earth, pushing the limits of being the best version of myself, operating the highest level of the pyramid, doing the things that no one else has ever done, helping others, having impact. Like when you can encourage other people to have impact on other people's lives, now you're balling. Now you have arrived. When your mission has rubbed off on other people and you've actually have been able to elevate them in the way that they think, and your behavior start to rub off on people in a positive way, that's when you know you're doing something right. Now, having said all that, am I perfect? By no means am I perfect. Do I stumble? Do I say stupid things? Do I still act out? Of course I do. But today, the difference between today and yesteryear's tiebacker is that I see the impact that I have on people's lives, negatively or positively today. And I correct my wrongs. I instantaneously, when I'm wrong, I promptly admit that I'm wrong. It might take me about 3 minutes, to 3 hours to circle back, but I will circle back and make amends when it's needed. So basically I was kept here. I was kept here to help others, to have impact, coming to realize that money isn't everything, but it sure does help. And it has become the tool. It has become the tool to enable us to do the things that we do and to have the impact on people's lives. Being an entrepreneur can't be about the money. I mean, the shit that we go through on a daily basis, it can't be about the money. We got to get clear on our purpose.